Okay, so let's get into compression. Well, let's start first with why. Why do I need to compress these vocals? When you have a mix with lots of instruments, not even just one like we have here with the acoustic, you need to bring that vocal out. And one of the ways that we do that versus just turning the volume up is with compression. And it helps it stick out above the rest of the mix. There are, again, lots and lots and lots and lots of different types of compressors that you can use for all kinds of different things. But there are certain compressors that are kind of more well known for being used with vocals. Without a doubt, one of the most commonly used ones is a Universal Audio 1176. So that's the first one we're going to pull up here. And they come actually in, they're modeling after two different types of 1176s. There's a black one, and then there's also what's known as a blue stripe. But we're just going to look at the black one for the first and kind of just go over the compressor itself. So as we're looking here on the screen, let's start on the right, actually. So these meters are about your gain reduction. That's what you're going to leave it on as, because you're going to watch how much reduction is being done to the vocal as the singer is singing. My personal preference with compression is I like to not have one compressor do all the work. I like to kind of spread out the compression evenly, or not evenly, but at least across a few different compressors, and I feel that that gives me a better collective sound than just slamming the hell out of one of them. That being said, 7 dB of reduction on 1176 is not a big deal. If you're peaking this thing into the 20s, you're really going to hear that, and that might be a little hard. Again, if maybe you're doing like a really rockin' rock track, that might not be a big deal. But again, with this particular project, I'm looking for the less is more concept. Then we have ratio. Okay, 4 to 1, 8 to 1, 12 to 1, 20 to 1, and then you can also, I think, option click or one of these, and it will shift click. Oh, there it is. Shift an option, and then you can press all the buttons in, which is like a super limiter mode. We're not going to do that. We're just going to keep it at 4 to 1. And then attack and release. Now this is one of the things that I constantly have seen people actually misrepresent to the public. And it's what the direction of these knobs do. So here's how this works. It's slow to fast, so that if we're looking here at the attack knob, okay, some people think that when it's in this position that's the fastest attack, thinking that it goes from like in milliseconds, like 3 milliseconds to 1 millisecond, and that's actually incorrect. This is actually the slowest attack position, and then as you roll this all the way over and around, then that becomes the fastest attack. And conversely, also here with the release, this would be the slowest release setting, and that's the fastest release setting. So here's what I would say as far as attack and release. The slower the attack and the faster release, the less you're going to hear the compressor. Okay, so if we play this right off the chute here, and we're watching our reduction and listening, most importantly, and again, I'll even play we're just looking specifically at that chorus of Joe's.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here.
Okay, and we're a little hot already, but this is just turned up so you can hear it. So here's now with the compressor on.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here at the altar all alone.
Okay, so we're not getting a lot of reduction here. Now we can turn the input up, and it'll start to get more reduction.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here at the altar all alone. But baby wants to let me go.
And I'm good with that. That's kind of like a nice amount of reduction. Now if we turn this attack speed up, you're going to start to hear it a little bit more.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here at the altar all alone.
If we go really a lot more.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone.
You start hearing the compression a lot more. It becomes less and less transparent. So with this sound, and knowing that I'm going to be doing some other compression after the fact, we're just going to maybe hear it.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here.
And I like that. That sounds good. Now we can see our settings. I'm just going to look at input and output. And if we were to bring up the blue stripe, same settings, attack and release wise, and we're at 4:1. And let's get the volume just about the same on the output. And we'll get the input looks about just about the exact same, maybe a little more. And let's listen to that one.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here.
And immediately you can hear that sounds not only louder, but it sounds more compressed. And that's the great thing, is that you have the option between the two. So you might say, okay, well, I need to turn the input down on this guy.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here.
It also sounds like a little bit brighter to me in a couple touches.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone.
And so what's crazy is that you can actually make some tone and EQ choices even with the compressor that you use. They have their own color, they have their own sound. And as you get to use these instruments more and more, you'll go, oh, okay, I can use this for that. So on and so forth. Now, typically, as I was mentioning, that I like to kind of combine compressors. An 1176 is what is known as a FET compressor. Okay, and that's just the way that is modeled. And I'm not going to get into the detail about FET compressors. But a LA2A, as we saw earlier, is an optical compressor. And really what that all means is that an 1176 is a lot faster and an LA2A is a lot slower. And there are many, 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 many fabulous mix engineers that enjoy using a fast compressor and a slow compressor kind of in conjunction. So what we'll do is, let's grab that first. We'll activate the black one up here. And we'll bring in this LA2A gray. And you might say, hey, you already used an LA2A when you were tracking. And I could say, yeah, I did. But that is okay. No one's going to prison if you use a compressor twice. It's okay, because in this stage, you can choose to use it or not choose to use it. But I've just for example here, we're going to use it.
She's a hot mess.
And we're coming out a little bit too loud into this, so let's turn this down.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here at the altar all alone.
And you can see now that vocal is really starting to jump out of your screen, or at least jump out in front of your speakers. Because it's just, and again, I don't want that LA2A doing a lot. Just a little bit of compression.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here.
And again, if we look back, and even if it's louder, it won't be as compressed.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone.
And hear how it kind of falls back into the acoustic, like he's not standing up loud and proud above it. And that's why we want to use those compressors.
She's a hot mess in a white dress cold as stone.
And what's great about it is I still don't feel like I'm hearing a lot of that compression coming in and out. Last compressor I want to talk about is the Renaissance Vox, or RVox, as we'd say, from Waves, another amazing company. And what I love about this compressor is it seems to be that last little bit of, if you still feel like your vocal's not quite coming out as much as you want, throw this RVox on and it'll get you there.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here.
And again, we don't see what's happening under the hood. It sounds to me like they're just using a higher ratio, but a little bit goes a long, long way. And we can adjust the gain too, but it really just brings that vocal out.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone. But baby wants to let me stand here at the altar all alone.
And without.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone.
That vocal just sounds kind of dead and lifeless in comparison to how good it sounds when we have all three of those engaged.
She's a hot mess in a white dress, cold as stone. But babe.
Okay, so that is just a really great insight into some of the top compressors that you can use on vocals. Those guys won't let you down, and we're going to move on to EQing.